Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Mario Lopez MCs Home for the Holidays at Westfield Montgomery in Bethesda, Maryland this Sunday. We discussed his newest Lifetime movie, Steppin' Into the Holiday, which premieres the day after Thanksgiving, as well as his TV career from Saved by the Bell to Access Hollywood.
Hello.
Hey, Mario Lopez. Hey, thanks for joining us on WTOP in DC.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Now, where are we? Are you on the way to the airport? I hear you're on the way here, or where are we in your busy, crazy schedule?
I'm not on my way there, but I will be soon. Looking forward to it. Is it cold there yet?
I just started to like a day ago. We've had a nice fall season. I mean, that's my favorite time of the year. I don't know about you, but you strike me as more of a summer guy.
I am a summer guy, but it's always summer out here in LA. So what are you gonna do?
Exactly. But actually, you've become really synonymous with sort of the holiday season, which is why we're here talking, because you're coming for an event called Home for the Holidays. It'll be at Westfield Montgomery. We used to call it Montgomery Mall. It's on November 20th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. What exactly are you doing? Is it like a meet and greet? I think there's like some music performances too. Like, what do we got?
Yeah, that was a smooth transition, by the way. But yes, I am going to be there, be hanging out and meeting the nice people of Maryland and just kicking off the holiday season. You know, I got a holiday movie. It's called Stepping Into the Holiday on Lifetime. That is the 25th.
The day after Thanksgiving. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited to ask you about that, but one more really quick about the event. I guess like the Maryland Youth Ballet will be doing the Nutcracker. I think the Washington Nationals Racing Presidents will be there. There's like a string quartet playing Christmas music, and it's going to be great. And I think we're encouraging people to donate to the Children's National Medical Center too. I think Westfield Montgomery will match those donations for up to $10,000. Wanted to get that plug in there for the kids and around the holidays.
Good for you.
All right.
It's important for the kiddos. Exactly.
Step up for the kids. All right, but now let's step into the holiday. You mentioned the Lifetime movie that's going to be premiering the day after Thanksgiving. Proverbial Black Friday. Come home from shopping and watch Mario Lopez. What's the basic premise? You play a Broadway star, sparks flying with a local dance instructor. What we got?
Yeah, like I host a show, kind of like a Dancing with Stars show. I get fired. My ex takes over, and I go back home to kind of lick my wounds and kind of connect with someone, and then I end up not wanting to leave, and you have to see how it plays out. But there's some romance and dancing and a lot of fun involved. Wife's in it, so it's a good time.
Romance, dancing, Mario Lopez. What more could you want for a day after Thanksgiving?
Exactly.
And I'm pretty sure Lifetime also that same day is going to be doing some encore airings of some previous, holiday movies. We got Holiday in Santa Fe that you were in. We got Feliz Navidad with emphasis on the dad, I guess.
Exactly.
I guess that was directed by Melissa Joan Hart, right? What was it like working with her as a director? And I guess she was in this cast too.
Well, we worked together for a long time, and we go way back. She's a great director and a sweetheart, and really like her. We get along really well.
Yeah. Why is it what has it been about these holiday movies that have really captured your attention? I mean, hey man, I think it's smart. It's steady work. Christmas comes around every year. That's a new movie every year. But why do you like is it like a heartwarming theme? It's like feel good stuff. Is that why you keep coming back?
I'm a family man. I got 3 kids, and I'm all about kind of representing family and leaning into that brand. And Holiday, of course, represents that. It's all about the family, and so it just works out great. And I think it makes everybody feel good, and I think we can all kind of use that right now. So it's just become part of my brand.
Absolutely. It's a really cool part of the brand now. Do you have, I'm always curious, do you have a favorite Christmas movie or holiday movie that you're not in? Like, is there like a classic that either you grew up with or a newer one that's sort of like your go-to jam around the holidays?
When I was a kid, everybody loved like the Rudolph ones, the old school Frosty ones. Love Actually is probably one of the more modern take ones. It's a romantic, great film. Then, of course, like, National Lampoon's Christmas. Those are always fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You just named some of my favorites too. So I grew up. I was like a Home Alone kid, of course, growing up. But I love the classics. It's a Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th Street. There's so many good ones. All right. Well, speaking of growing up watching Rudolph and Frosty, I know you're born in San Diego in like '73. I want to know what were those like early acting gigs, auditions, and stuff that like how did you crack in? I think I remember seeing you like in an early episode of like The Golden Girls too. But how did you crack into the biz?
Yeah, I'm going to be approaching my 40th year, and I got into it as a kid. I just kind of fell into it. Mom put me in a bunch of stuff to keep me busy and out of trouble. And growing up in San Diego, only a couple hours south, it was a world of difference, but still had an opportunity. And somehow I just kind of started auditioning, and an agent saw me. And then once I fell into it, I fell in love with it. So that was that.
Awesome. And that was that. And we all, the big breakthrough that we became the household name is AC Slater on Saved by the Bell, which started in '89. Me and just about everyone else grew up watching you on that. I always wanted to know, did you invent the whole backwards chair sit thing, or was that in the script? Was that a director's idea? I want to know who actually thought of that exact trademark.
I think I did it just messing around one time. Like that's the way I used to sit when I was a kid. And then they sort of just incorporated it.
So you literally had multiple generations that can be like, "Hey, you just AC Slatered that chair set." I mean, come on, you've become a part of pop culture. Did you? I know you probably hate when people ask you this, but do you have a favorite episode? Is it the "I'm so excited, I'm so scared," or is there like an underrated one that people don't talk about that you're like, "Hey, that's Slater's best episode"?
No, I mean it's all sort of a blur. They're all kind of the same to me. I just remember like whenever we got to leave the classroom, that was fun. Worked at the beach, went to Hawaii, Palm Springs. Those were always probably my favorite.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you guys? You had to have developed a little bit of a bond with all those actors behind the scenes because we all saw you on screen, but you're all pretty much growing up together on set. Like sort of those teen years were spent with that same bunch of folks. So talk about sort of the bond you developed with all those castmates, and also the fact we lost Dustin Diamond too. I mean that's a loss.
It's like when you go to school um, in real life. You get close. You take the summers off. You come back. You see each other. You kind of pick up where you left off, and it's the same thing. And Dustin, I was always probably the closest to him, so obviously we lost him way too soon. But I'm glad I got to speak with him before he passed, and I have nothing but fond memories.
Oh, so you were saying Dustin was probably the one you were the closest with, Screech?
Well, he was the closest to me, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I got you. I got what you're saying. Well, yeah, that shook us all up when we heard that. But it's really cool that the legacy of the show lives on, and those characters are sort of frozen in time, and they come back. Tell me about that reboot on Peacock. How much of a joy was it to finally reunite with all those people? I guess this was in 2020. It was like pandemic viewing for people. You helped get us through with some nostalgic memories. What was it like reuniting with everybody?
Thanks. It was fun, I still see them when we're not working, so it wasn't like I hadn't seen them, but
Right.
I was doing that and while doing Access Hollywood and my radio show and all that. So it's just been so busy. Again, the whole thing's been like a blur, just like it was when I was a kid.
Exactly. Well, that's a perfect way to sort of come full circle. You mentioned Access Hollywood. We've seen you. I guess first you hosted Extra from like 2008 to 2019, and then you switched over to Access Hollywood from 2019 to, I guess, to the present. What's it? Do you find that being a quote unquote celebrity yourself helps you navigate hosting that more? It's like an athlete that gets to do sports analysis as opposed to just a regular journalist or whatever. But do you find that your experience sort of in the showbiz world as a celeb helps you sort of navigate maybe the pitfalls of things to ask or not ask, or you know what I mean? Like, do you think it helps?
Yeah, yeah, no, I get it. That's a good analogy. I mean, they're completely different skill sets, to be honest. A lot of people that are actors aren't necessarily comfortable in that situation or don't even like to be interviewed for that matter. But I do. I think you're either a host naturally or not. And whether it's hosting game night or barbecues in my house, I'm the same guy you get when you're hosting radio shows or TV shows. And you just got to kind of like people. And I like people and I'm inquisitive. And so it seems to work out.
Absolutely. And you meant this is actually, we're talking about home for the holidays, and you mentioned you're a family man now with kids and everything. What has been the most rewarding part of being a family man, being a dad? A lot of us think of Mario Lopez, the more tabloid dating days growing. We grew up watching your whole life, but now you've settled down as a dad, family man. What's so rewarding, especially around the holidays, just doing the dad thing?
Yeah, I mean, busier than ever, and the kids consume me, and we're going to be doing the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade as a family. We're in the first float, lighting the Rockefeller Christmas tree the next week. So, yeah, the holidays a great time of year, not obviously just for friends and family, but it keeps me busy with work, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So I feel very blessed to be where I'm at right now, and again, looking forward to seeing everybody in Maryland and hanging out at the Westfield Mall. So thanks so much for having me. Shout out to my guy Mike Esterman that lives out there. We're gonna have fun out there, and thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone, Westfield Montgomery on November 20th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Meet Mario Lopez in person and then watch Stepping Into the Holiday, premiering on Lifetime day after Thanksgiving. But see him his family on the first float there on the Macy's parade first, and then watch the Lifetime movie the next day. Hey, thanks, Mario. Appreciate it.
You got it, man. Take care. Thanks.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.
Explain your DNA on 10 cases, man.
You're inside the police interrogation room with the alleged Potomac River rapist.
I'm not guilty on any of this stuff.
So calm, so reasonable. Could this be the man who terrorized women for 9 years before murdering a brilliant scientist 2 decades ago? Experience one of the most fascinating true crime podcasts available. Join crime reporter Paul Wagner for Unknown Subject, Season 3 of WTOP's American Nightmare series. Search American Nightmare Podcast on all podcast platforms.
I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.